Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for being here. I'm going to do a quick check on who's in the room. I know it was done earlier, but how many researchers are here? Okay. How many K-12 teachers are in the room? All right. Last category. How many of you oversee or perform professional development or professional learning? All right. That's great. Nice to have you here. So I'm going to do a little bit of using my phone for notes, maybe more than a little bit. I'm Karen Kirsch Page, and I'm here in my role as the Director of Professional Learning for the Center for Technology and School Change at Teachers College, Columbia University, where our work sits at the intersection of research, innovation, and equity in K-12 education. At CTSC, which is what we call us, I work alongside K-12 teachers and pre-service teachers, supporting teacher learning, teachers as designers of standards-aligned, rigorous learning environments, and technology as a catalyst for creating real-world skill-building, problem-solving, and yes, excitement for learning. I'll also add, because it's foundational to who I am and who you should know you're listening to, that I'm a former touring sound engineer and studio music producer in the world of jazz, rock, and hip-hop. Following my music career, I was a K-12 teacher for over 15 years and built technology arts programs, as well as founding a nonprofit in South Africa called EdTech Global Africa, that supports teacher learning in very underserved communities in sub-Saharan Africa. So I'm very old. I've had a long life, but I am a lifelong learner, and hopefully bringing some of that to you here. At CTSC, we partner closely with schools and systems to support the study of and the design of innovative technology-integrated learning environments. We work via contract and through grants for research, professional learning, and evaluation. We believe technology can and should act as a powerful catalyst for reimagining education and creating authentic, student-centered learning for all learners. We engage teachers as designers. We support school leaders in sustaining change, and we conduct research that explores not just what's possible, but what's sustainable in real classrooms. So today I'm excited to share highlights from a recent paper I wrote with the founder of our center, Dr. Ellen Meyer, and our paper is called Beyond Access, Bridging the AI Implementation Gap Through Professional Learning. This work builds on insights from our longstanding research agenda, including a 5-year NSF study we call STYLE, which is the Systemic Transformation of Inquiry Learning Environments. This focuses on how sustained collaborative professional learning can transform both teacher practice and student outcomes. And in particular, I want to reflect with you on what we're learning about what it really takes to support teachers in integrating technology broadly, but AI specifically, and not just as a tool, but as a meaningful part of inquiry-based teaching and learning. There is a systemic limitation stemming from a persistent gap in both exposure to emerging technologies, as well as the dedicated time that it takes to move beyond surface-level implementation. This gap directly impacts educators' ability to leverage these tools for deeper inquiry-based teaching and learning, so that teachers can adequately support the diverse needs of all students. Effective and sustained collaborative professional learning has proven to play a significant role in the transformation of schools, including the impact on teacher practice and the improvement of student performance. Although a recent Gallup poll revealed 60% of teachers reported using at least one AI tool during the 24-25 school year, what we see is that those tools are often used sporadically and disconnected from pedagogy, broader school goals, and even sought-after student outcomes. We don't have a tech problem. we have a learning design and support problem. So as technological change accelerates, it's clear that K-12 educators need effective preparation to use AI in schools. With the undeniable impact of AI in education, teachers need high-quality professional learning and the time it takes to learn on an ongoing basis. The results of the NSF study we did have shown the importance of research on professional development strategies. The successful outcomes, including the finding that technology did in fact serve as a mediating factor in developing new pedagogical approaches, underscores the importance of institutes of higher ed working collaboratively with K-12 educators. STYLE presents a model not just for project-based learning or STEM, but for how we scaffold new approaches like AI. The success came from professional learning support cycles of design, implementation, reflection, and revision. The gap between teacher adoption of AI and effective classroom application exists due to multiple factors. You know many of them have been talked about today. Limited teacher familiarity with the tools, a lack of understanding of pedagogical best practices, concerns regarding student privacy, uncertainty, and responsibly use of AI with learners who themselves are still behind in foundational literacy, digital literacy skills, policy confusion, and mixed messaging about what is expected, what is allowed, what is open. Little to no context-sensitive professional learning support connected to teacher grade level, content, and unique community aspects. So today, the demands of curriculum, as you teachers in the room know, as well as the pacing expectations in public schools of mandated curriculum, often leave educators with minimal opportunity on their own for self-directed learning, the time to experiment, explore, and integrate new technologies meaningfully. Ongoing and continuous support is needed versus a webinar every now and again that we dip into. Time, exploration, trial and error, and supportive partners help the building of confidence, self-efficacy, and the willingness to take pedagogical risks. Adding to the critical professional learning challenges today, educators frequently lack the time and support to use data to assess student progress and refine instruction strategies, limiting their ability to make informed decisions about how and when to integrate technology into their teaching. So I sort of went through some of this, and I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead. Scaffolded exploration and application within context builds AI literacy and confidence. Teachers need to design with AI for their own subjects, students, classroom environments, and learning goals. Learn and apply and reflect. You know, those of you who've studied Kolb or, you know, the learning cycles, it's important. The adult learning theorists have supported this way of learning, and yet we rarely provide this kind of time for professional learning and professional development cycles. High-quality professional learning for teachers can start by explicitly demystifying AI. Educators need foundational knowledge about how it works, what it can and cannot do, and how its use intersects with pedagogy, ethics, and student learning. Structured, ongoing professional learning experiences are necessary to prevent educators from feeling overwhelmed by technological advancements along with everything else that's expected of them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Rather than defaulting to AI-powered platforms that conveniently generate curated solutions like walled gardens, educators need professional development that empowers them to actively guide AI outputs, customize learning experiences, and engage creatively and iteratively with AI tools. Prompt engineering is a critical thinking skill that needs practice in iteration versus button clicking, one and done, to get a result, to get a lesson plan, to get an AI quick brainstorm input. The links between technology and new pedagogies also need to be explored. Research indicates that technology integration in professional learning, when aligned with instructional methods such as PBL, inquiry-based learning, and formative assessment strategies, significantly enhances teacher confidence and student engagement. So, as I've said, low stakes, space, time to experiment, and classroom-specific application, these are critical and the most requested supports in our style work. They're of paramount importance, again, for AI literacy, teacher AI literacy. A clear goal is to empower educators as active designers and critical evaluators of technology solutions. That does not mean curriculum designers, right? That means the ability to design the learning environment with the tools that they have at hand that they can customize for their students. This includes equipping teachers with new AI understanding and the skills necessary to assess algorithmic biases, the ability to ensure alignment with educational objectives, and the opportunity to build their own agency and creative voice as they integrate more innovative practices. Professional learning can focus on enabling educators to creatively adapt AI tools rather than positioning them as passive implementers of predefined solutions. A critical component of professional learning with emerging technologies is developing ethical and equity-centered practice related to its use. Educators must receive, K-12 educators must receive support and structured opportunities to address challenges such as data privacy, algorithmic bias, and equitable access. Without dedicated time for critical reflection and collaborative inquiry, social learning with their peers, there is a risk that AI integration may inadvertently reinforce existing disparities, as others have pointed out today. Our interventions have been refined over time and consist of intensive summer professional development sessions where teachers work with university facilitators to learn design practices and integrate meaningful technology to support learning goals and the pedagogy for more inquiry-based, active instructional practices. During the school year, the facilitators work both in person or virtually in 10 to 12 weekly sessions to design specific projects with grade level teams that include support for the implementation with what they've designed with students with critical reflection following implementation to refine the project designs. So in our most recent study with over 250 teachers, the control and experimental cohorts focused on designing and implementing STEM-centered projects. The study was designed before we were doing a lot of AI in education. We were still scaffolding technology use and building that into and connecting it to core content areas. But as teachers developed an interest, as New York City in particular opened up AI possibilities, first through principal leadership requests and then through teachers having access, the results showed that technology had a mediating effect, 32% of the total effect on STEM pedagogy shifts. So in addition, the findings verified the importance of enabling conditions at the school level. When schools were clustered around these enabling conditions, for instance, supportive leadership, there was a positive, statistically significant correlation between the school data and teacher perceptions of their own learning and feasibility. And I hope it's a 3-page paper. The bigger, broader NSF work is available online. So I hope you get a chance to take a look at it. Ultimately, by investing in sustained context-based professional learning experiences that respect teachers as lifelong learners, schools can bridge the gap between technological innovation and meaningful classroom application. Institutions of higher ed can be well positioned to partner with schools in providing high quality, scaffolded professional learning grounded in research and responsive to practice. This ensures technologies such as AI function as a tool for deeper learning and pedagogical creativity rather than a superficial add-on. So, thanks for listening. I hope I'm under time. The successful integration of emerging technologies like AI in K-12 classrooms hinges not on the sophistication of the tools themselves, but on the capacity of educators to use them effectively, ethically, and creatively. So, as our paper argues, achieving this requires more than just access to technology or an occasional webinar. It demands a profound and sustained investment in the professional learning of teachers. So thank you for listening. And if there's any questions, I don't know. Time?